WrestleMania Night 1 has already happened. I mean, WrestleMania 41 Night 1. There's a lot of ones in that one. I mean, maybe we should throw our wand in the air, but we shouldn't because the ending was different. Predicted them, got half right, half wrong, which makes no sense because there's 7 matches. So I was right and more on some of them, or less on some of them. We'll see. We'll talk about each match, my opinion of each of them, and we're going to go from there. I'm tired because obviously I stayed up to watch it, and I live in the UK. Poor me. Look them down there. Jey Uso versus Gunther started off the night. So you've got the Royal Rumble winner, main event Jey Uso, having the first match. But in all fairness, I actually really enjoyed this match. Like I said, I've written some things down there as well because I've had a little bit of sleep since then. So we're going to talk through them. Obviously, he had his long entrance, Jey, basically yeeting. The crowd was pretty dead for a WrestleMania crowd. I've known, France to be louder than the entire WrestleMania. That's just my opinion, though. You had Jey Uso doing things like power slams. You had German suplexes. You had Gunther going for a powerbomb. Jey reversing it into his own powerbomb, almost messing it up, but being okay with it. I don't think I've seen any super kicks. I might have seen maybe one or whatever it is, but that made it much, much better. Going for his spear, then going for a splash, then a splash, then a splash to Gunther's back was brilliant. Then Jey hits the sleeper. Does he hit it or does he lock it in? And Gunther taps out. He didn't pass out, he actually tapped out. I've not known Gunther tap out since Ilya Dragunov, I believe. This is the second time Gunther's ever tapped out. They tapped Gunther at a WrestleMania. For a Jey Uso match, I really enjoyed this match. There'll be someone out there that doesn't like it. And the way I see it, if you didn't enjoy it, sucks to be you. But for a first match, it is really good. And I was actually interested and invested in WrestleMania. And with the fantastic stage, I think this one looks absolutely brilliant. I've not seen a great WrestleMania stage for a few years now. But then you had Jey walking through the crowd. It's like, mate, I've just built you a ramp so you can walk down. Selfish. I didn't personally build it, if you didn't know. The New Day versus the War Raiders. The War Raiders came out dressed as the Clash of the Can game thing, whatever it is. I don't even know. So that's the reason it was on there, just for the sponsorship. This match was a great match if it was a kickoff show match or on Raw. The New Day win by doing their new... Is it the new finisher? Well, it's a finisher. The Midnight Hour, I believe it's called. Nothing wrong with the finisher. Nothing wrong with the match. But then they grab the titles and they just run off. I was like, okay, so we've got no Big E. There's no point in this match happening. So, yeah, it was an okay match, but it wasn't a WrestleMania match. Well, it was a WrestleMania match because it happened on WrestleMania, but it shouldn't have done. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. The first women's match in 19 years. Singles women's match for no title. Nothing wrong with this match. Jade showed her power off. You had Naomi literally jumping from the top rope, Jade catching her in midair. I got, what is that? How's that even possible? Into a vertical suplex. You had Naomi being dominant near the beginning of the match, but you had Jade showing off her strength, like I just mentioned with the suplex. Also getting Naomi up into an electric chair, spinning her around, hitting a power bomb. Then I believe it ended with Jade hitting a version of the Widow's Peak, which Victoria used to use. I don't know if she's used it before. Going from there. Nothing wrong with this match. I thought it was good. I thought Naomi was going to win. I gave my reasons as to why. I was wrong. Jade won. And we're going to see where we're going to go from there. More than likely, probably Bianca and Naomi having some kind of feud now. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. LA Knight came out in a sports car, Posh car. I don't know what kind of car it is. I'm not a car person. His music was hit when his window came rolling down. So I was walking down, obviously. He's not going to fly, is he? Fatu comes out. Nothing wrong with the match. Just a normal match. I thought it was okay. I didn't think there was anything bad about it. But when you had Jacob Fatu doing the moonsault and pretty much perfectly landed into the BFT. Is it BFT? That sounds wrong. Yeah, blunt force trauma, that is right. But Fatu only getting saved because he was next to the ropes, grabs the ropes. Fatu going for his moonsault, but you can tell he was trying to keep his balance, so it's like something's going to happen here. LA Knight jumps up, doesn't slip. Well done to him. German suplex off the top rope. Fatu flips over, lands on his stomach. Great. But we've got a new United States champion when Jacob Fatu hit his... what's he call his moonsault? His moonsault. Twice to get the pin, and then the new United States champion. So, yeah, it was an okay match. Then we had El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. Or Phoenix, I don't know. Either way, because Rey Mysterio was injured, so we got replaced. Yeah, it sucks that Rey Mysterio couldn't compete, but a silver lining was Rey Fenix with his debut. I'm sure Dragon Lee's not annoyed at all about that. You can do a storyline with that. Great match. I loved it. I think it was brilliant. You had El Grande Americano going for a backflip, but he rotated one more time and landed on his back on Rey, which I thought was fantastic. Made me like confused of what actually went on there. And Chad Gable's never done that before, so it can't be Chad, can it? So obviously it's annoying that it's not Chad doing the match, but well done to El Grande Americano because he won, because he loaded his face up with some metal and flew off the top rope. Chad Gable can't fly, and smacked Rey in the face, and then somebody came out to help Rey Fenix. I don't know who he was, so I do apologise for that. So not a bad match. Just, yeah, he didn't get unmasked. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton came out with the entrance of Barbie. She came out like a big Barbie box, then came down to the ring. This match was just them working on each other's knees. For a dream match against them two, it wasn't very good. Some people might have liked it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It's just literally working on the knees. I think, well, I'm not too sure. I'm sure Tiffany Stratton got her tooth chipped or cracked. You could tell at the end of it. So it might not have been the prettiest moonsault in the end. Tiffany wins by hitting the prettiest moonsault ever. Yeah, it could have been better. It could have been worse. It's more on the bad side if you ask me. Then we've got the main event. CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus Roman Reigns without Paul Heyman. And then Seth Rollins. You'll see. Seth Rollins comes out and decides to just burn everything with his flamethrower. Just a normal triple threat match, obviously. Them three all trying to, outdo each other, all this other stuff. Paul with his schoolgirl cry in the corner, not showing what's going on, sort of thing. There was a great part in the match, though, I loved. You had CM Punk hitting a GTS on Seth, who bounced into the ropes. CM Punk got speared by Roman. Roman got stomped by Seth, and Seth fell down. I think they all hit the finishers on each other, and they all obviously did like the close to 2 count and going to kick out, so they all kicked out. You had Paul passing Punk the chair. I thought, okay, this is interesting. I didn't think anything of it then. But when he went into the ring and he stood there next to CM Punk, I was like, he's going to turn on Roman. I didn't think of it until that point, so I'm not going to try and give myself a pat on the back. So then you had that, and then he stays in the ring, and he's next to Roman, with obviously Seth with his back turned. I was like, he's going to turn on Roman here. Only up until that point I thought that. I mean, I didn't think it was not possible that Seth was going to join Paul or Paul was going to be with Seth. I just didn't think anything of it until actually that point, if that makes sense. So you had Seth winning, obviously, with the help of Paul Heyman. Okay, I'm not upset about this. I'm not angry, I'm not mad. I'm just interested because I want to know where it's going to go from here. Like, where can they take this story? Because Paul has been with Roman for 5 years now, and I could try and guess, obviously, like he's upset how Roman treated him, all this other kind of stuff. But being with Seth, because Seth is a fantastic heel, and trying to work with Roman again, Roman's like, no, I'm not interested. They could say something along the lines of, we tried to recruit you again, but you can't work on your own, you're selfish. Just to prove the point, he tried to get Roman to powerbomb CM Punk through the table, shield bomb style, because I'm not interested in that. Still powerbombs him through the table again. Those new round tables are really, really weak. Get the other sturdy ones back. Then he powerbombs Seth through the table, the opposite one, so they're both gone. But at least they wait till the end of the night to actually do that. Paul walks out with Seth, which means if that's meant to be like a bad side of it, do we get a good night on the WrestleMania Sunday? But we'll see. All in all, though, okay, not a terrible WrestleMania. Not a fantastic WrestleMania, it's just an interesting WrestleMania. But we're going to see what happens on night 2, which happens tonight, obviously. And we're going to go from there. But I'm sure you'll have people out there saying, oh, this is terrible, this is great. You can't please everyone. So if you didn't like something, just focus on the good side of it. Anyway, let me know what you think of my opinions, and tell me yours. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.